What's happening, athletics fans? Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Athletics. I'm here to cover the last 7 days from the entire athletics world. My name is Lloyd. I'll be your host for today's episode, and it has been a jam-packed final week, so let's dive straight in. First highlight comes from the England Indoor Para Championships, where our own GB's Thomas Young was triumphant in the 60 metres. The Paralympic champion is gearing up for a massive 2024, where he will defend his title, not just in Paris, but also at the upcoming World Championships. So let's take a flashback back to 2015 when 21-year-old Laura Muir took fourth place in the European Indoor Championships over the 3,000 metres. Now, there's some good news and there's some bad news from this whole story. The bad news is that Russian athlete Yelena Korobkin has been found guilty of doping offences. But the good news out of the negative is that Laura Muir's fourth place has been upgraded to a bronze medal. Now, unfortunately, this has stolen the moment for her at the time, but this is actually her first major medal at a senior championship. So unfortunately, doping is a big part of our sport, but we've got to look at the positives, and that is another medal for Laura Muir to add to her incredible trophy cabinet. We're stepping it up in distance once again, and we're going back to the marathon, which we normally do on these updates, and it's Ethiopian Tigist Katema who has run an insane debut in the Dubai Marathon, taking the win in 2 hours, 16 minutes and 7 seconds. Now, she's actually known as an 800 metre / 1500 metre specialist, and she took the previous course record by over a minute. Now, with the Olympics coming up this year in Paris, and Kenya and Ethiopian teams being stacked as it is, where's Katema's going to fall in all of this, and can she go much better than her 2:16 and potentially even take a medal? Who knows? There's so many questions when it comes to marathon running, so many fast times, so many super shoes. I'm lost within it all, but one thing's for sure is that Katema is in shape, and 2:16 for a debut is insane. And so the indoor season over in the States is well underway, but in Europe and across the world, it's just about getting started. And some of the biggest rivalries of the year have started to come out of the woodwork, and we have some incredible matchups to look forward to. So we're going to dive straight into the indoor circuit. Fred Kerley has announced that he will be taking on the 60 metres at the New Balance Boston meet, and he will go up against none other than world champion Noah Lyles. It's going to be an incredible matchup between the once upon a time 400 metre star and, as we say, the sprint world champion Noah Lyles. I don't know where I'm going to put my money, but one thing's for sure, I'm here for the trash talk. I'm here for the pre-match meet. I just want a little bit of banter, a little bit of aggression, and maybe, a bit of trash talk as well. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be insane to watch nonetheless. Meanwhile, alongside that, the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix boasts an incredible lineup of stellar athletes, including Gudaf Tesgay, Grant Holloway, Marco Arop, Jake Whiteman, the former world champion, is back. Gabby Thomas, Trey Cunningham, Mariano Garcia, and the 800 metre specialist Bryce Hoppel. So stay tuned for the Indoor Grand Prix New Balance meets because they are going to go off. Now, one of the meets that is always impressive when it comes to start lines is Ostrava's Czech Indoor Gala, and this year is no different. We have world and Olympic long jump champion Militadis Tentoglu and a clash between Poland's Justina Schwete-Eristich and Netherlands' Lika Klaver, just to look forward to. So that's one to mark on your calendars. Now, let's take another flashback. Do you remember this name from the sprint world? If you're a Team GB follower, you definitely will do. 45-year-old Dwayne Chambers has just set a new 60-metre world record of 6.81 seconds at the Lee Valley Sprint Open meeting. Now, interestingly, in 2009, he actually ran one of the fastest times ever at the time in 6.42 seconds. However, his achievements in the past and this world record unfortunately have sparked controversy in the UK due to his open discussions about past doping offences. But let's just curb that for 1 second. It's insane to see 45-year-old sprinters making a comeback and setting age group world records. For one, I'm all for it. As long as the athletes stay clean, I think it's good for the sport. So that wraps up another episode of This Week in Athletics. Stay tuned for more updates next week for the past 7 days of action. My name's Lloyd. I've been your host for today's episode. Please do like, share, and subscribe for all things athletics at Trackster. And until then, I'll see you down the road for a run and a chat.